A founder of modern cell biology, Dr. Joe Gall's 57-year career has earned him this year's Lasker Award for Special Achievement in Medical Science. He's always been a bold experimentalist, fascinated by the machinery of cells.
Well, for me, I really began to be interested in science as a boy. So I guess to ask when I began science would be before I can remember. I was always interested in collecting insects and other natural objects. At a very early age, I had a microscope. In fact, by the time I was 14, I had a genuine microscope that my father was able to get for me. And this was just amazing to me. The things I could see, I'd been playing with toys before then, but then I could actually see things through the microscope, and I immediately began looking at everything I could get my hands on. I learned how to make microscope slides. And by the time I went to college, I was actually a pretty accomplished microscopist. During my undergraduate years, I took a very classical program at Yale, and eventually learned that to be that one could be a professional biologist and not have to be a medical doctor. I really didn't have any role models for a professional biologist. But by the time I finished college, it was clear to me that I wanted to go into biology, and I stayed on at Yale in the PhD program there. Rather than doing a genetics project, I decided to work on chromosomes, but since the chromosomes of the fruit fly had actually been very thoroughly investigated, I couldn't think of anything to do with them. So I was looking around, and I discovered that there were some giant chromosomes in the amphibian, the frog and salamander egg. They had been discovered in the 19th century, but actually had not been intensively investigated during the 20th century. So we had at Yale a newfangled type of microscope at that time called the phase contrast microscope. Everyone nowadays would know that this is the type of instrument that you use routinely, but we had one of the very first that was available. And so I decided to work on these giant chromosomes that are found in salamander eggs for my thesis. So that's what I did for my thesis. And that was basically a morphological problem, but it got me tremendously interested in chromosomes. And I would say that everything that I've done since, some way or another, relates to chromosomes or to the genes in the chromosomes.